Well, good evening and a very warm welcome. My goodness, that's loud. Good evening and a very warm welcome to the Love Audio Production YouTube channel. My name is Paul Webber. Good to have you along today. Well done, and thank you very much indeed for joining. Now, normally, Love Audio Production about audio production for beginners, and particularly featuring the Studio One 6 DAW from Presonus. We're going to be looking at that this evening. In fact, diving into some of the new features that have come out since 6 was released. And in particular, tonight we're going to be talking about smart templates. Okay, so that's our subject for tonight. We'll take a look at how the platform looks when you open it up first of all, and then diving into one or two of the platforms that appear when you take a look at that. So without further ado, let's get things started, and yeah. Yeah, that's not meant to happen, to be perfectly honest with you. That was the ending, rather than the intro. Love Audio. You see, it just, you know, and I don't have the what do they call it, muscle memory or something like that, where these buttons are. So I just press the end button instead of the intro. My apologies. Anyway, anyway, we're going to dive into it. Well, let's open up a series, an instance of Studio One, and I'm going to dive over to this particular desktop scene like that. So now you can see the software as I see it when I open it up in when I'm doing some production in the morning or whatever it might be. What I get is this opening screen. So once everything starts loading up, that's like that. I'm going to close that down so I can show you from scratch. So let's do that instead. So what you see first of all is your list of songs, and we mentioned this on a previous stream where it's got this new feature where you can pin all of the most used projects, if you will, so you can get those quite easily by accessing them at the top there, and you get them all pinned like that, which is quite a good feature, I think. And as you can see, quite a bit of stuff has been done, but certainly the most recent stuff I tend to pin to the top, so I'm going to be using that quite often. So, but what I wanted to show you tonight was this new feature. So you click on the new button at the top there. It's quite a large button there at the top of the left hand side of the screen when you open up Studio One. Just don't forget this is version 6, okay? And if you there's various options, of course, on Presonus. You can either buy the thing outright, or you can cross-grade or upgrade. You can cross-grade from a previous DAW if you're using Logic Pro, for instance, or whatever it might be. You can cross-grade at a certain price, or you can opt for upgrading from your current one. Let's say you're using 5 or 4 and you want to upgrade to 6, then you can do that as an upgrade, and it's exactly what I did. But I went for the Sphere option. Now Sphere is a monthly subscription, and you pay for that and you get the full software as part of that deal, as well as all the updates and everything that come with it. Okay, so that's what I opted for a couple of weeks back. You may have seen that video on my YouTube channel with regards to me subscribing. So what I'm going to do is click this new button here, as I say at the top there, and what it does, it brings up a new window, various things. Let me just talk you through some of these. So if, let's say for instance, you already had a group of songs and you wanted to let's say, release them, master them, and then release them to the public, whether it's uploading them to a certain platform, a streaming platform such as Spotify or YouTube Music, or not YouTube Music, but certainly Apple Music perhaps, or Amazon Prime, anything like that, then that's where you'd use that particular template. If you wanted to rehearse and perform a show, then that's a new profile that you can click on as well. If you just wanted to kind of just play around and mess about with some stuff and get things done, just click the Play Now button. That will open up a virtual piano using Presonus XT. If you wanted to just record ahead like a single audio track, that's pretty useful for what I do, just doing the voiceovers and that kind of thing. I would click on that and it would open up a couple of record windows, and then I can tweak it thereafter, which is pretty cool. There's one here called Produce Beats. Now this is building a new beat from scratch, so you click this one if you wanted to use virtual instruments for drums, bass and chords. We'll take a look at that very shortly. If you wanted to create a podcast with or without a video, by the way, this is a great new feature that they've built into the new Presonus version 6, and it means that you can, if you're a content creator, you want to drag a video in, you can do that, and it gives you basic video editing tools to use, but it means that you can also match that audio with your video at the same time, which is pretty cool. And I'll be trying that hopefully in the near future. So we can maybe take a look at that in a future episode. If you just wanted to import files and start mixing on them, then you do that. You can drag and drop stuff to the right there. There's a big box there. You can, like it says, drop files here. So you can just drag and drop stuff in there, and then that will be part of your project. What we're going to do, though, is go to Produce Beats. That's one that I wanted to particularly take a look at. So I'm going to go with Produce Beats. I'm going to change the title here. I'm going to just call this Beats. Let's call this Beats Demo. And today's date is 24/10/22. And I'm going to change the sample rate to 48 kilohertz because that's a better quality sound with regards to audio production. Instead of the 44.1, which is CD quality, but 48 is classed as studio quality, which is cool. So apply customization, that's ticked, complete. Studio One .song is how it will save itself, and then we click OK. And then what you get, Produce Beats. Want to create an awesome beat with just a few clicks? Yes, please. Then look no further than this beat making template. Brilliant. Enter notes. You can enter notes or rhythms for any instrument currently selected in the track list, either manually by clicking any of the steps inside the grid, or by using the convenient shortcut buttons, examples set every fourth step, etc. Right? That's pretty cool. Now change the step length. Each lane has its own step length. Combining different lengths inside a pattern creates interesting polymeters, like that. Automate steps. You can adjust parameters such as velocity, probability, repeats and delays for subtle timing shifts, plus per sample and or step. And then these modifications are accessible from the automation lanes view. It can be accessed from the highlighted button. Brilliant. Create variations. Inside a pattern, you can create an unlimited number of variations, create, duplicate, or delete variations with a single click. And then finally, learn more. Click here if you want to learn more how to use this template. No, we'll just cross out of there. Thank you very much. That's enough. So what you've got here is the drum pattern, first of all. And that's at the top there. You can see that that's already highlighted. It's ready to record. So what we do is we go down to this drum pattern thing at the bottom here. And we're going to have a kick drum. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, just like that. Snare, and you can audition the notes before you place them in the grid, which is cool. So you just click on them on the left-hand side there. There's a clap there. We'll do that in a minute. So we're going to get snare. Let's have a look at what are the snares they've got. Okay. Nice. Yeah, it's good. Okay. So we'll go with snare there, and we're going to 1, 2, 1, 2, like that. And then so when you play it back, it's which is far too fast. So I'm going to take out 1, 2, like that, and then take out 1, 2, like that, and see what happens. Let's play that now. Okay, clearly that's not right. So let's go back to the beginning. So we need to move that. And we're going to put it there instead. Take out that. Start again. And so we'll put that 1, 2, let's put that on bar 13. So it's just a very straightforward, and it'll play forevermore. And so you can go on creating all sorts of things like that, you know? It's pretty crazy. And you notice at the top there, by the way, it's dropping that into the MIDI file at the top. So that's what you can see, all those kind of square looking things at the top in that pink section at the top there. Just pretty good. Okay, now obviously I'm not writing music by any stretch of the imagination. This is just purely just playing around with it. And then you've got, so let's say for instance you wanted to do a bass line along with that particular rhythm, okay? So here's where we go. I've got the keyboard linked up to that as well, so. Okay, so let's try recording something. And the good thing about that is, of course, what you can do is that's where the notes are coming in there like that. And then you go to the chord or arpeggiator. This could be quite interesting. So what you do then, of course, again, you can draw these in. You know, you don't have to kind of. So you can go. And if you wanted a variation of those, see what I mean? So, you know, it's really, really quite a decent thing. If you wanted to just set up a really, really short song and a really simple template, you could just dive into this and just start making music from scratch. And I'm just literally throwing stuff on the screen there to demonstrate how that works. But it's pretty cool, isn't it? So, you know, again, you don't have to use the sounds that come with that particular plugin there. You can actually go into here and then change. Let me just bring that over to that screen there so you can see it. So you can change anything. This is the Mai Tai synth, by the way, that comes complete with Studio One. And that particular one's on chord/arpeggiator. You can change the sound of that by all means. Just drop down menu. It's called ARP Shorty, that particular one that they're using, right? So you could go into any one of these and then change the style or sound that's coming up with, right? So let's say, for instance, you wanted an attack key paddy, whatever that is, right? So we'll play. So now your sound that you had on the arpeggiator earlier on now sounds a bit like this. So you completely change the dynamics of that sound, you know. That's quite good actually. I like that. And you can see it all going on in the bottom screen as well on the pad there. That's the drums. That's that bass line that we came up with. And don't forget, by the way, that we're just using an 8-bar loop here, a 4-bar loop. You can actually just duplicate that and then start taking out bits and making the... Because I watched a video on YouTube, actually, yesterday, I think it was, talking about the 8-bar rules. So, you know, you're looking at 4 bars here. What you do is then you duplicate your 4 bars, and then you can start messing around with it and taking stuff out. It doesn't have to stay like it is, and you then start to create some interest in it. And don't forget, we're starting from scratch. So, you know, what I've done here is created that beat straight from the beginning. So what I'd probably do is, if I had more time and everything like that, I would make it build slightly and then come in with the kick and the drum and all that kind of stuff, and then come in with a bass line and then drop that bass line, so you just got the pattern in there with the chords and stuff like that, and then bring the bass and everything else back in on bar 16, for instance, and then you know, you get that kind of crescendo then, and you get towards the drop and all that kind of stuff. As you're composing, this kind of, you know, it's a great way of teaching you how to kind of lay out things and get those templates working for you. So I just wanted to demonstrate that tonight. So that's a really, really good way of just starting a beat from scratch, you know, and it's just like... And it's starting from, you know, like I said, it's starting from scratch. So, you know, from bar 1, it's straight away. So you would build up to that. It wouldn't just start like. Very interesting. So, you know, and again, you can play along with that as well. So. That kind of thing, you know, you just play along with it and do your own stuff. And there's no reason why you have to stick with 3 tracks. Obviously, you can just go to the track menu at the top there and click on add track, add an instrument track or whatever you're going to do. And then you add your vocal tracks as well, your stereo or mono vocal tracks, and then bring those in underneath. And so, you know, it's just the start of a song. So you're just composing stuff from scratch, which I think is really, really cool. And then don't forget that at the top you've also got these menus that drop down, so you can have the ruler there on top, which of course you've got there as well if you need that alongside it. So that's pretty cool. You've also got, we don't really need that on, so we'll take that off. But you also got markers. I tend to use these a lot, these markers. You've got the start and finish. So for instance, if you go to the end of the song, you could bring that end marker in to about there, and then expand that again, and then zoom in with that. And then what you do is you bring that end marker in, and if you're exporting the audio track, you then have that end marker, and then you can export the track so between markers. So for instance, what I do is, let's say for instance I wanted to highlight all of that and song export mix down, for instance, right? It would then come up with this window here, and let's change that to 48 because that's what we wanted, wasn't it? 320 kilobits if you're exporting an MP3, for instance. You can tick the WAV file box as well if you wanted to. 24-bit 48 kilohertz. There's AIFF, there's FLAC files, there's CAF files. You can even export them as M4A files or OGG Vorbis I've used in the past. It's really bizarre titled format for audio. You've got Opus on there as well, so you know there's all different options. And you can, by the way, if you wanted to save one as a WAV and save one as an MP3, you just tick both boxes at once there, right? But generally, if I wanted to export as an MP3, for instance, I go between selected markers. That's what I tick there. So that is ticked by default. Is between selected markers, start and end. So that's where my markers come in, as I showed you just now, at the top there on the left hand side. Sorry, on the top of the window there. So you've got start and end. So it would save anything within that parameter. So if I click, for instance, just as a an example here. So if I click this, right, click OK, it's now saved it because I haven't titled it. It's saved it as mixed down. But if I double click on that, it's now saved an MP3 of it, and I can control the volume of it on the mixing desk here. See what I mean? So, but don't forget, it's only saved the one loop. It's not saved the whole thing. So, but if you were saving stems, for instance, and you wanted to send that to somebody else, then yeah, you'd make this 4-bar beat, this 4-bar section. You'd save each of the individual files as stems, and then the person doing the mixing at the other end can then move these around as and when they want to. So like I was saying earlier on, if I wanted to start this particular beat with let's have a look. Let's go back to the beginning here. So that's obviously coming in straight away. That which is not the drum. It's that kind of thing, isn't it? So my hands are freezing, so they're not working as hard as they should. It's so cold in here, I can't tell you. Although it says it's 14 degrees Celsius, but I don't believe it for a second. And I moved closer to the main door, so it's colder than actually I'm making out that it is. So yeah, what I was going to say to you was, look, so if I take off loop, for instance, okay, what we'll do now is I want to start with the beat, that's fine. And I want to bring the bass line in. Let's have a look here. So let's duplicate the whole thing first of all. So let's highlight those and then right click, and then there's an option that says duplicate, and it literally does that, which is cool. Let's take the marker out of the way for a minute. And what I want to do is not bring in this first section until this bit kicks in. So for instance, if it starts now, that kind of thing. So okay, so just for argument's sake, and this is really going to be really rough, so don't judge me. And then what I would do is probably highlight those, right click and duplicate, but I'm taking out the drum loop this time. So this is how it sounds from the beginning. Come on. Paste. So I would put the drum beat there so it comes back in, and then I'd bring the bass back in as well. So excuse me, so I'd right click on that, click copy, and then right click on there and click paste. I should stick it there. Yeah, so for instance, so it would be this kind of thing. So and then something different happens. The idea is that, by creating these loops, what you're doing is you're creating interest in the mix, and that's the main thing, is you want to hold the attention of the listener for as long as possible, don't you? So, you're coming up with different ideas, and it doesn't sound the same for the next 16 bars, because people get really bored of that real quick. So, please class this as purely a demonstration of the feature, and not necessarily my prowess as a songwriter, because there's no way that I'm any good at that. So I hope tonight was useful for you. We're going to go through some of the Presonus Studio One version 6 features over the next few weeks, and so I hope you'll join me for some more. And like I say, if you have any comments or questions and you want to drop those in the comments, or you want to send me a message afterwards, please do get in touch. Either drop them in the comments on the video itself, or you can actually email me. It's hello@loveaudio.co.uk. That's meant to be the full screen camera, and it's clearly not. So let's go to that instead. That's not working either. Let's try that. There we go. Okay, yeah. So you can always email hello@loveaudio.co.uk, and that'll come straight through to me, which is cool. If you want to check out my website, please do so. That's at loveaudio.co.uk. It is in need of an update, and I'm speaking to my web designer in the next couple of days to get that changed. But yeah, it's all cool, so get on there and have a look at that. You can also have a look at the merch store. Mugs like this, there's t-shirts available as well, and get over to loveaudiosmerchstore.com. I know that's working, so I've just renewed the domain, so I know that that's working. And if you want audio spares, get yourself over to loveaudiobits.co.uk if you're in the UK, of course. And then you've got cables, mic stands, mic muffs, that kind of thing, all available on loveaudiobits.co.uk. Right. See, that's clearly needs changing. All right, let's go back to, there we go. Might as well stick that on as well. So yeah, I hope that's been useful for you. If you have any questions, like I say, drop them in the comments or drop me a line, and we'll get that sorted for you. But thanks very much for watching, and we'll join you on the next week's live stream, which will be at 8 p.m. Normally 8 p.m. British summertime, but actually it might even be. What's the date next? So it's 24th, 25th, 26th, 27th, 28th, 29th, 30th, 31st. It will actually be Greenwich Mean Time, GMT, instead of British summertime next week, because the clocks go spring forward, backwards by 1 hour. That's happening next Sunday here in the UK. So yeah, it'll be a different time, probably a different time zone if you're watching in America and stuff like that. But make sure you check out the subscription button and click the bell icon as well. That will let you know when we go live next. Of course, it will give you a reminder. Okay, so make sure you do that. And yeah, look forward to seeing you on the next stream. So take care, and catch you later.